why do you believe it's important for the team sports aspect?
First and foremost, everything is a team sport. Like if you look at life, just family, a group that you're a part of, trying to come to some sort of goal or conclusion with a group decision. Everything is a team sport.
Welcome to the new series, Cocktails and Conversation with Kat and Nat.
And we've decided to bring you all of these conversations with people that we like to have, where there's a little bit of wisdom, always hilarity and hilaria. Yes. Some famous, some just cool, some drink, some don't drink, but there's always a conversation.
Cheers, join us. Okay, guys. Candace Parker, thank you so much for joining us. I know between the three of us, we have 8 kids, and to be able to find a time that all worked for us was a little bit crazy. So thank you for making the time to join us.
She's also a superstar, not just a mom, but everyone who's just a mom is more than just a mom.
Yeah.
But you are back in COVID training and actually playing
for the LA Sparks.
Yes, we actually just had our first 2 games this past week. So we're back playing. We're in the Wubble, which is, it's great. My daughter liking it. She's got like herself a little slime business going on here. So she's selling slime.
Oh yeah. My God. My son, I come home and he's on the front porch. He thinks that slime is glue plus sparkles.
Yes.
It's all over my front porch.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
You're missing out on an ingredient. I think it's like, is it like
activator?
Who's she selling it to?
All the players here. And like I've told her, because she got on Amazon and like got a hefty bill. And so I was like, I'm explaining business to her. Like, this is not something where I just give you the money. Like, you're going to have to do something or give me I gave you a loan, or, there's equity within a company. Like, I'm explaining all this to her. And she's like, yeah, okay. She's still selling it. And all the players are like, yeah, I'll buy some. Like, yeah, And so she's doing like aroma slime, like strawberry shortcake slime. She has a book full of like slime, the types that they can pick out. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, you definitely spent $1,000 on all of that material. But do the other players have their kids with them?
Yes. So we actually are in like an apartment complex with all the other kids. And it's really cool because Layla is the oldest pretty much here. She has a friend that she kind of grew up with in Russia. That's a daughter of a coach for the Phoenix Mercury. They, they have sleepovers and they hang out and stuff, and they babysit. And it's like the cutest thing ever.
That they
she's babysitting.
And like start a birthday party business and then can't be. Oh God, they would be busy for days, months. They don't have to go back to school. They could be millionaires right now, because us moms are all like, anything. I will take anything.
Did they have sitters there?
No, you just kind of bring your own caretaker, or you have people watch. I know we've just kind of helped out, because I know what it's like to play with a 3.5-year-old or 3-year-old. It's just like you don't get a second. Like pregame nap means absolutely nothing to them. So for us, like Layla just invites one of the little girls over, and she plays in her room. And Layla still loves dolls and still loves all that stuff. And so she's just LOL dolls. And
I have a question to ask you. What do you think the male NBA bubble looks like versus the female one with children and no caregivers and practice? What do you is that frustrating, crazy? It's like what
must be different, right?
What is the?
I think for the first time, I'm actually like, wow, the WNBA kind of got it right, because the NBA can't have their kids or their with them. They're not allowed until I think week 7. And for the WNBA, it was like a no question. It was no brainer. Like, if my daughter doesn't go, I'm not going. So then where does that leave us? So I think but I mean, like, barbershops and stuff. Say it again.
Was it a survey, or was it just a given? They knew they had to accommodate women for their children, or was that like a conversation that happened with you guys?
It was kind of one of these things where it was like, hey, we're thinking this is going to happen. And I was like, okay, so if this happened, I'm not going. So that was the end of my conversation. And then they came back and were like, okay, so like, bedroom or a 2-bedroom, or like, what do you want? Do you need a kitchen? And I was like, yep. So that's kind of how the conversation went. And yeah, so we're making, I mean, listen, we've lived in Russia, we've lived in China, we lived in Turkey. So this bubble is kind of like my daughter's upbringing. Like we find things to do, we homeschool, we have fun, we have, all that. So my mom actually helped me when we were overseas, but now Layla's of the age now where she hops on the computer, she has a tutor, and then we do our reading, doing her reading list for the summer. So we read out loud her books that she has to. It's kind of cool because you're like reliving your childhood, all the books that you used to read in school.
I've forgotten a lot of things, mostly in the math area. But
how are you staying motivated?
For school or for basketball or for everything?
All of it, because I'm so that's my biggest thing is feel so unmotivated by
she has to go win.
Well, I know, but that's still hard to stay motivated. I can imagine when you're a mom and then you go and you're home and a mom again, and it's like there's no.
And this is something you've always done, so like you're used to it. But that's pretty unique, just being a single mom and taking your daughter everywhere with you. Like, how many women that you play with are in that situation?
There are a few, and you know what? Honestly, I look at it like my job is easier than the normal working mom, because the normal working mom can't bring their kid to their job and just let them go, blow bubbles in the corner. Whereas like my daughter went to practice with me yesterday.
And you can focus.
And she's on the bus. It's like we have and that's why I say I'm so lucky she chose me, because if there were other kids, I don't know if it would go well, just because she knows her vibe, she knows the room, she knows what she's supposed to do. She's always been pretty good at like sleeping and like making sure that I get rest, and she understands. She occupies herself, like she's really good with playing, and keeping herself busy. So honestly, this is our bubble. Now you guys are realizing, like, when we go overseas, this is kind of what life is. Like, we play basketball, we try to find food that you can eat, and you spend family time.
You know why I think I'm somewhat blown away. My husband was a hockey player at the professional level, and their schedules were so protected. It was like you can't like wake them up during nap time before a game, and that's why I'm just kind of like in awe of you, because a lot of men, I mean, I knew a lot of the players and their wives, and it was very like they were babies basically. They had to keep them in a good mood during the day, and then it was game time, and don't distract them, and then they get their pregame meal, and then they go and play the game, and if they lose, they're going to be in a bad mood. And as a mom and a woman, you don't have that luxury to be like that. So I'm in awe is the wrong word. I think it's super I can imagine what that feels like to balance, but you've never done it any differently. I just see I've seen what men do in one sport, and I think it's fucking amazing that you're doing it.
I appreciate you guys, but I really do believe like when you become a mom, you really have superpowers. And if somebody would have told 20-year-old me that I would not be sleeping until noon, which I kind of trained my daughter to noon, so I still probably do now, but sleeping till noon, getting up when I want, eating when I want, going where I want, like all of my friends were probably like, when I got pregnant, like, oh my gosh, poor kid. But it's like, you develop love and you adapt. And like, I wouldn't want to be like that. Like, I want to be there for her first steps, and I want to be there when she like struggles on her homework and things like that. Like
I love that
fun for me to be able to bring her along, and I think she's learning some lessons as well.
Candace, you are in the WNBA. Your brother was in the NBA, and you have another brother who's a doctor. We're moms, and we're hoping that our children can be really successful. What did your parents do to create 3 like overachieving children?
No, high achievers.
Thank you. My parents, I think the biggest thing is something you finish it. And that was like a no. I mean, it could be something. I remember having arguments with my parents about like board games. Like, once you start our board game, you finish it. Like, they were just adamant about that. And I never understood. It's like I look around and it's like all of us have kind of been loyal to certain situations for a long time, and I think that in this day and age, it's just so easy to move on to the next and quit, that I'm happy that they kind of enforce that. I do believe that my parents also made things uncomfortable, because if you can like be successful while being uncomfortable and things not going your way, those are probably like the two lessons that were no brainers. And then we had family dinners every Saturday with waffles. Sunday was like steaks or pork chops on the grill. Like we had that family time. And so I think we all put being parents, and I don't know if that was like what they taught us, but I'm more proud of my brothers as fathers than as doctors and NBA players, because they really honestly are amazing parents and amazing uncles to Layla.
Wow. So that's 3 kids that are great parents. Then it definitely came from your parents.
Do you get to hang out with them?
So they're actually in Tampa. We are in Bradenton, and we're like 30 minutes, but can't see them because we're in the bubble.
You can't leave.
So after the bubble's done, we're gonna go hang out and crash their houses and eat all their food and everything like that. So
what you just said always stuck with me during our Instagram live that we did that while back, and we asked you that question, and that always stuck with me. And I have a daughter in sports, and she's always been uncomfortable in that sport, but my husband believes in team sports as like a major fundamental part of if you guys can't see her, you're nodding your head and saying please do that. Why is it important? And I know why he tells me why it's important, but why do you believe it's important for the team sports aspect?
First and foremost, everything is a team sport. Like if you look at life, just family, a group that you're a part of, trying to come to some sort of goal or conclusion with a group decision. Everything is a team sport. And so and I'm not necessarily saying they have to play a sport, be a part of a club or something of that nature where you have to work towards something, and there's wins, there's losses, there's obstacles, because honestly, like sport and team sports are a metaphor for life. And there are so many things in life that I probably could not have gone through if I did not have the proper tools that sport built, honestly. And I believe in that. And that's the thing. When girls play sports at a young age, it's for them to necessarily play professionally. Yeah. It's for them to learn that the boardroom is actually operated as a team sport. So if you want to go into business, it's unfair right now, but it's played by the team sport rule. I mean, it's played by the man team sport rule. So if you don't learn that, then you're already, behind. And then I think it's so important to learn those things, to fail and to get back up. We lost last game, and it's like, it sucks. I stayed up till 3:00 in the morning. It's terrible. Like it eats at me, but it's like, you got to get up and you got to do it. You got to find something. You got to talk to yourself. You got to get your mind right. So that's what's two of the major things about playing team sport that I think is so important for girls especially.
Yeah, I feel like during this this COVID time, all those months where they haven't, I mean, obviously we're a family, so we work as a team and we have a big family, but had them not being able to play in their group sports, I feel so bad, because I feel like, they can really find their place and learn to work together, and they had to miss out on that. So
on the girl side, I think you just touched on such an important thing. And we talk to moms, and we always say we try to give them something to take home rather than, listen. And I don't know your thoughts on this, but my daughter has been in soccer now for 4 years. She loves pink. When we go into the store, there's no pink shoes. It's like, she can't. She's like,
Adidas is working on it. Go ahead.
And soccer, it's like she has to be a tomboy to love sports. But this is the first time she's actually loved the soccer, and I registered her wrong and I put her in the wrong week. So she ended up she's a really good player, but she's not competitive. So she ended up on the C team, and she loves it. And I go, why do you love it so much this week? And she's like, just everyone's just happy. Like there's no competition.
She's not with
she's a really good player, but she doesn't like to feel like she's failed, like she's, you know, the firstborn. And I'm like, I guess that's something that we need to work on as parents, is not making them achieve high necessarily, but get them into where they're at the
Where
team, right? Like they're not failing if they're on a C team or a D team or a house league team. It's where they're at, that they're learning the lessons you're talking about.
This is where I had to kind of reshift my focus, because in our house, like if you decided to do something, you were going to try to be the best at it. So, but if you didn't decide to do it, like my dad with my middle brother, he wanted to be a doctor. My dad was like, do you want to play basketball? He was like, no, I want to do it for fun. And my dad completely backed off. It was for fun. It was entertainment while me and my brother were running beside the car. Like my brother was like, some days I was like, I wish I would have decided not to play basketball, but it was like, yes, I totally agree. But I do believe that there is a standard that you have to set. Like there is fun and there is enjoyment, but there's also competition and holding yourself accountable and setting goals. And so, you know, making sure that you're trying to improve at and it doesn't necessarily have to be soccer. I think the biggest thing with being on a team sport is energy. And you find out things like when you have to run sprints or you lose a game, you find out those people that really have morals and values and really are who they say they are every day. So it's like those type of things that you can hold yourself and talk about with your kids that are on or not necessarily want to be soccer players, but enjoy playing. Those type of character building things that are so important at every level, whether you're playing or fighting for a gold medal or you're trying to make a decision within a company.
I appreciate that comment, and I will take that with me when I'm, you know, talking to her, because it was an effort to keep her on there, and it took so many years, and now she loves it.
She's staying, and her feet are bleeding from blisters,
you
and
know,
she keeps going. So
but I so many parents, if you're listening and your child is on the fence because of anxiety or feels overwhelmed by the process, do your best to push through if they can go, because I am finally at a spot where I can see the joy of the sport. And it took so long, but she is there. And I'm like, oh my God.
But that's the journey. And I think we're in a unique position because we're kind of at the period of time where our parents were like, you just do it. And you just did it because your parents said you did it. And now with Layla, like I didn't want her to feel like she had to play basketball because I played basketball. But you're going to try things. Yeah. And then once you try things, like, why are you quitting? Why do you not want to do this? And, you know, all the things that she's, whether it be piano, whether it's art, volleyball, she's tried soccer, she's tried basketball, she's dropped soccer. That's pretty much the only thing that she did not like. And then she went into all of these things kicking and screaming and not wanting to do it. So it's just like it's so much just sit on TikTok and like play video games. And I mean, I would want to do that. So it's just at this point in time when there's so many just different things out there that kids can do that is just instant gratification and you don't have to work hard for it and it's fun. I kind of sympathize with them. Like that would be way more fun, but it's like our jobs as parents to like make sure that they at least try.
Yeah, totally. And that kicking and screaming story of my life, I think it was the first time like this year that I dropped off a kid under the age of, I don't know, like 5, and he didn't cry when I dropped him off. And I was like, I've never experienced this before. I've never had to not just like put them into the arms of the walk away. And it was like, I was like, this is how other people feel. This is amazing.
It's amazing. I want to have another one at some point. Like I do. I want to have another child, but I'm hoping that they're like diehard basketball. And I know that's going to happen. It's going to be over and they're going to be all into it. Layla's starting to get into it. But I just really like my brother. It's the same thing. His oldest is not into basketball. His youngest that was pretty young when he was playing is like diehard basketball. And he's like, I wish that he would have been around when I was good.
Right.
You know, it's so my husband attributes a lot of his personality because maybe his family isn't as well, we'll leave it at that. But but he went to Billet. He had to move out because of sports at a really young age. and he attributes the team, the coaches, the players, the dressing room, the environment of sports to why he follows through, like you said, is loyal and works hard. And he's like, it drives him crazy that my oldest isn't competitive. It drives him insane. But to her credit, she's still like, she is still there. And I really do think that what you're saying about team sports, especially girls, they say what girls drop out at age 11 of most team sports.
And that's also the age when their confidence drops.
Is there anything we as moms can do? I mean, you stuck with it. Did your friends stick with it? Was it because you had a team? Like, what can we do as women and as moms to encourage girls to, and is there enough sports for girls? Like, I'm like, what else is there besides soccer and volleyball?
That's what my daughter said. She was like, I feel like the boys have so many options to just like play outside. They play, they play basketball. She doesn't really like to play basketball, soccer. And like, she's like, I'm like, tennis? Let's try that.
That's not team though.
It's uncomfortable because when I go to open gym, I don't see like individual girls working out. And just as we have to shift our bias in so many different other areas, we have to shift our bias with that as well. And, we automatically, if you think of a sports commentator, you probably would say he. Or you think of open gym or kickball or any of that. I mean, you have to be uncomfortable, go out and be the only of something. So whether it's like you are the only female and you're walking in a room of aliens, basically, like you're going to be uncomfortable. And that's what it is now when you go outside and play sports. It's like kickball, you got to be the only girl. That was me. Like soccer, you got to be the only basketball at lunch. It's like not cool if you're a girl and you're doing that. And so it's like talking about it and making sure that it's what they want to do. Because here's my thing. I don't want Layla to ever feel like she doesn't have a say in things, but I also don't want her to do things because other people are convincing her not to.
Yeah.
So I don't know if every 11-year-old at that age is being convinced themselves that they should drop out. I think it's everybody around them, and they start having a bigger awareness of the world and what you're supposed to be. And for me, it was just exposing Layla to so many different women. Like there's so many different women out there, and it's crazy. I will not conform to only wearing a dress, and I will not conform to only wearing basketball shorts. Like I love wearing backwards caps. Like I'll wear backwards caps. I'll go wear a dress. I'll go wear heels. I'll wear sneakers. Like, why do we have to fit into a box? And so I think it's just having those conversations with your girls at that age, because I don't think it's like 11, all of a sudden that's like the magic age where they're like, oh, I don't want to play sports. No, it's everybody else. And, as women, that's kind of what we've been told, like you got to look at what everybody else is doing and try to fit in. And I just think that, our girls are so strong and are going to be fine if they understand it's not about what everybody else wants.
Our children are now looking at the TV and being like, why aren't women's sports on there? And why are there, I took my daughter to the soccer. There was a women's soccer game, one, and we went to the one. There's a male one all the time, but we went to the one, and it just being the energy and seeing them actually play in real life. And the soccer league she's in brings the players in as often as they can at the professional level, and they are trying to hire more female coaches because it was all male coaches for a girls team, and I was like, how is this possible? Still, how is this possible? Like. I know you're probably so passionate about this too, because you're so much more immersed in it, and you probably see, lack of diversity, lack of women, lack of, like, why do we have white male coaches for a female basketball team? Like it's so crazy that we can't flip the script yet. And I guess it's up to us as moms to flip the script and show them different things. And when it's on, are you guys aired on TV? Is that a dumb question?
We are on television. I would encourage today. We're actually on television on ESPN, so please watch. We'll be on tonight, and we're on ABC. We're on, So
I love that Candace is sitting there just doing a podcast with us, and she'll be playing tonight on TV. We are definitely going to get everyone to watch.
Please watch. You know what I have two ways of thinking of that. One, the progress that we've made. And I think we need to understand and be not grateful, I won't say, but I will say I don't even know the word. I don't want to say grateful. I don't want to say thankful. I don't want to say any of those words. I want to say like this has been something where in 97, up until 97, there wasn't a professional sports league besides the baseball league that was the longest lasting back in like the 40s because all the guys went to war and it was the league of their own league, basically. That was the longest standing sports league. And now we have the WNBA that is the longest standing sports league. Are there things we need to change? Yes. But you know what I'm finding? I'm finding moms that have not ever played sports, having daughters that absolutely are in love with sports. And so we are able to have allies with women that never had experience in sports. And it's fantastic because we're able to kind of connect with through our kids. And it's different women together. And I think that's the biggest thing now with progress is you have to have people that aren't necessarily in the sport and the fight in progress. And that's what it is. Listen, I was at ballet recitals, like I have no idea what is going on, but my daughter loves it. So I'm going to sit here and learn the grand, like I'm going to hold her hand and let her stretch. Like I'm going to do all that just because my daughter's into it. And if she said that's what she wanted to do, I probably would have learned a lot of things. So I think that's just the biggest thing is just having allies and fight progress.
Things forward and people are finally being like, this needs to be represented across. It needs to be accessible to everyone, not just, you don't just find it somehow.
Yes.
I love listening to you talk. Like I wish that our whole family could come and watch you play. Maybe one day that can happen. But in the meantime, we'll watch you.
I'm hoping next year to have you guys have to come to a game, especially before I retire, because it's coming. So
if there is any way that we can help promote what you're doing, where they can watch you, like we will find the schedule and we will post it because I think that a lot of people just don't know. And that's probably the biggest barrier. And everyone is dying for sports right now, right? Like everyone was watching the Korean baseball that wasn't even like, it was a totally different, everyone was watching it. And I was like, well, we can get behind a whole bunch of things, if we can watch.
There was some other weird sports our family was watching.
Bull riding, because it was live.
Listen, we've watched every single, and even like reruns where the end of the game. Like I watched game 6 of the Bulls versus the Jazz, like from 1996 when Michael Jordan was playing, or 98 when Michael Jordan was playing. And it was like, I was watching it like it was live. Totally. I'm with you.
I think that we watched the Raptors win
we watched them over and over again.
Yeah, we just keep. I'm like,
reliving the moment.
Here we go, got it. So yeah, we will make sure to get that schedule up so people can go and is it time zoned, obviously, but we will get that up so everyone can watch it wherever they are.
Yeah, we here it's a little difficult. Like we play at 10 p.m. here because it's 7 back in LA. So like tonight we game at 10 p.m. And we're playing a lot of West Coast time zone. So we're good though. We're making it work. We'll be pretty good if we decide to.
Yeah, you will. Well, thank you so much for taking time. You're such a busy woman and mother. We look up to you. We think you're so awesome.
Where can everyone find you on social? And you also are you still doing IGTVs or are you just too busy for that one?
So I am. It's just that the TNT, I work as an analyst for TNT. And so that show kind of started back up because the NBA started back up. So it was just kind of a lot. And so we'll actually have to have you on Ledlow and Parker podcast. I do a podcast for Turner Sports. And my Ledlow, the Ledlow of the Parker, is pregnant with a baby boy. So she's due in January and it's her first child. So we'll definitely have to have you guys on.
Remember that first
season because all the money twice. Say it again.
I said, remember that the first baby so long ago, like before
our babies are 11 too. Our babies are 11 too. Oh gosh.
And by the way, I saw you did your first TikTok. So remember that on IGTV, you were like, I am not doing TikTok. She will not do. I saw you.
The only person in the entire world that could get me to do a TikTok is Layla. So I will say that, and she came to the bubble. She's been amazing. We have some that are in our drafts that I would not let her post. This one, I was like, okay, I'll let you post it.
Well, amazing.
I bet there's gonna be more to come.
Thank you. And yeah, kill it tonight.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Thank you. We appreciate you. And good luck tonight. I hope we get ESPN. I don't think we do, but hopefully we'll get something.
Figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna make the kids. I'll have to TiVo it for the kids for tomorrow.
Right. Canada. I forgot about the television because that's how my brother was. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, we don't get anything for years. You guys are done with this series, and we just get it. We'll see if we can get it, but we'll make sure to find it. And thank you so much.
Thank you both, and please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay sane.
We will, and we're coming to find you. We're gonna find you. Good luck. Thanks.